Hi. Okay, so while I was recording this, I realized that my microphone was actually off. So for this entire video, it's just gonna be a voiceover. Okay, so if you were to actually read the thumbnails, you would know that this is a suburban house layout. It's actually a family house. I do not remember how many rooms this had, but I'm gonna put it up on the screen. So that's how many rooms it has. Right here, I'm actually using cubes to make the front deck. I feel like it was kind of stupid for me to use cubes. I don't know why I used cubes. You could have just used floors or roofs on the bottom, but I ended up using cubes. Just save yourself time and use roofs. But if you don't have the multiple floors game pass or the basement game pass, you can definitely use this instead. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out is whenever you are doing these type of things, always keep track of what size you're making your cubes when you resize them. For example, this cube, it's actually 0.9 and then the other one's like 0.8. It's not the same. So just make sure they're the same size. I'm making everything 0.85 if you want to keep that for yourself. Making them the same size, just really make sure that there's not like any weird indifference, the lines look the same and everything else. So right now I tried to make a curve on the side. It actually went pretty well. You don't have to add a curve obviously, but I just wanted to add that curve for a little bit of detail to sort of switch up the entire plot. Mine is if you don't have the resize tool or anything, like I recommend getting the resize tool game pass. It's definitely a big lifesaver, but if you don't have it or you don't have the Robux to buy it, that actually is, it's okay. You don't have to buy it. It's definitely fine. It's not like a I need it. I definitely would recommend for your game passes if you are new to Bloxburg and you need game passes, get the advanced placement game pass and the multiple floors one. Okay, so you can actually see how stupid I am here. I end up like just removing my advanced placement game pass and I'm just trying to add it, but definitely keep in mind that if you have the advanced game pass and nothing wants to go into your like build, then it's definitely turned off. You can check it at the right of your screen, and yeah. Okay, so right now I'm actually adding steps. You don't have to add steps. I just sort of add steps because I feel like it adds dimension and it definitely shows that your build is a bit more enhanced. Like, since when would you go to a house and it doesn't have steps? Like, you wouldn't go to a house that has a porch but like no steps at all. Like, I don't understand how you would even have a porch but no steps. Like, how do you expect the person to get up? If it's like a mini porch, I guess it makes sense. You can just lift your leg and it's like already a step. But if it's like a huge porch, you definitely need steps. I feel like you're not just gonna have someone jumping up on your porch to get to the house. Okay, so it's kind of gonna be a long time to watch me try to build the entire frame, wall by wall, everything. So I'm actually going to leave a top preview, like a top bird's eye view of the entire layout, so you can just copy it that way and you don't have to watch the entire video, because I'm definitely moving my screen a lot and deleting a lot of things and it definitely is super confusing. Okay, one thing to keep in mind is never making your rooms bigger than 5x5. Let's say it's like a living room. If it's a living room, it doesn't really matter. But if it's a bedroom, living rooms definitely don't make it bigger than like 6x6. And you always want to add dimension to your room, so yeah. I feel like having a house, like let's just say I decided to have a bloxburg house. Like, you know, all those people, like those new beginners to bloxburg, they just decide to build a whole square. And out of that square, there's like one piece of furniture in the middle and a kitchen on the side, and it's just so empty and messy. It's not messy. It's definitely not messy. There's nothing in the house. But definitely something you can do to fix that problem is to not make your rooms bigger than 5 by 5. If you are making it bigger than 5 by 5, try to add dimension. It's like what I just did here. Okay, so there's like definitely a way to fill up rooms that are bigger than 5 by 5 or anything else bigger than that. But it's definitely better to not make your rooms like the size of an Apple store. Like, I don't think you've ever seen anyone have a bedroom that size of an Apple store. Definitely in real life it works out. Like, I would be okay with a master bedroom and a ton of space in the middle, but in Bloxburg, you do not want a house that looks like this. I actually have zero idea why I decided to use these stairs. They costed $800, but I definitely could have used the other stairs that costed $600. But definitely use your own stairs. You can place it anywhere. This is just where I placed mine. Okay, so I actually have zero clue what I was doing here. I decided to use the shapes to make a driveway. I definitely left it there. I felt like it was okay. I definitely could have used the floors though. There was no point of this. Absolutely zero point. Okay, so we're gonna grab another basic shape and we're gonna actually just make another step, just connecting the driveway. I'm gonna resize everything because I want it to match the whole, like, I want it to match the other steps that we made earlier, if that makes sense. Okay, so because there's like a whole, like, you see that line over there? We're gonna use these wedges and we're gonna size them down to like the smallest size possible there, and we're just gonna plop it over there. But because I couldn't plop it over there, we're just gonna remove the other shape and we're gonna plop it over there. So here's me just adjusting. I don't know why I wanted to place it one by one. I could have just like resized it, but yeah, this is what I did. Okay, so we're gonna place it there and then we're going to just resize it. Here was me trying to get it to be the same, but then I realized I can't, so we're just gonna put it back. Okay, so that's the driveway. I'm just gonna adjust it a little bit more. I decided to make it longer so there's, at least you can't see the shape there. I definitely don't know why I decided to make the other part smaller, but I did, so now it's smaller. Okay, we're gonna start working on the house. I'm actually going to do the second floor now. So the second floor, I don't really have a plan, but I just sort of worked with what I knew I wanted to do. So this house is actually confusing without doors, but this right here is a hallway leading to all the other rooms, and now we're actually building the other rooms. So one thing about your houses when you're building them is you definitely don't want to keep it the same size as your first floor. You don't want to just exactly trace over. You can do that if you want, but it's definitely better not to, so you can play around with the roofs a bit, and it definitely just leaves your house looking better. Okay, so here is the layout for the second floor. If you want to copy it, this is how I ended up doing it. You can pause the video here, and yeah. Okay, so here I had a little bit of an indecisive moment for the walls. I definitely didn't want to have one of those bloxburg houses where you would be
banging your head on the stairs to get up,
but definitely it ended up working. I didn't show the part where I put the doors because I felt like there was no point of it. I actually ended up putting doors just to know where I'm going to put doors later. You definitely don't have to do it. You can just start adding your own doors, but definitely that's just what I did to know where I'm going to put the floors for the next one. Okay, so I'm starting to do the roofs. I definitely deleted the roofs after. They don't even look good. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, so here I am just deleting those two gable roofs that I said I was going to delete. Now we're going to get gable roofs on the top. We're going to do the other roofs last. Here you can really play around with the roofs. The roofs are your choice. You do the roofs however you like. You don't have to follow this for the roof, but if you want to, go ahead. This is how I did my roof. Definitely, it wasn't the greatest, but I also like it. I don't know what I was doing here, but this is just what we're gonna do. So yeah. Okay, so I actually only used the gable roof, the slanted roof, and the flat roof. Those are the only roofs that I used in this house. Another roof you can use is the mansard roof. I definitely recommend using the mansard roof. The only time that you really use flat roofs are when you're building modern houses. But the only reason why I decided to accept the flat roof was because I actually have a porch. Okay, so now you're just gonna see me editing my roof, switching it up, making it match with the house. Definitely you can use whatever roof you want. You can mess around with it, you can do whatever. Now we're going to add the slanted roof. I actually thought about using the mansard roof here, but then I realized it wasn't gonna look good at all, so I ended up just using the slanted roof. Now, one tip that I wish I knew while I was doing this house, you can press, after you do your roofs like this, you don't have to just delete it and replace it. You can press R and it will like swap out. I'm gonna put a video of it on the screen right now. Okay, so I'm just sort of playing around with the shape, the size, and the thickness of the roof. And then that's what you want to do. Okay, so here I'm going to add my pillars. I ended up making the pillars the same exact color as the house layout just because I wanted it to match a bit. You can definitely use your own pillars. These are the pillars that I used. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up changing them in the decoration video, but these are the pillars that I used. Okay, so for these, you're just going to place it this way. What I ended up doing, we're going to remove this door. I found out that it doesn't really match the roof and everything, so this is how I did it. I wanted to put the door sort of in the middle, and I guess it looks a bit better. It definitely looks better. It gives more space in the porch. It makes it look like it's matching. So here I'm not going to use any door. I wanted to put a door, but then I realized that I should choose the door once I'm decorating. I feel like it would just look better. It would complement everything better, and it definitely did. Okay, so now we're going to get the slanted roof again, and we're going to put it over here. You can use any roof, once again, any roof. You can use anything. If you wanted to use the clear roof, you can too. I just decided to use the slanted roof just to give a bit of shape. So yeah. Okay, so now we're actually going to work on the pathway leading up to the porch. So I'm actually doing a pointed pathway. This pathway was actually inspired by French roses. So thank you so much, French roses, for this pathway idea. Okay, so for the pathway, you can make it whatever colors you want. I'm gonna add grass, and then later I'm gonna swap it up for a stone for the gray parts. Okay, so looking back at the footage, I actually completely forgot to remove that white line over there. It's definitely not included in the build. Just remove it. It's just a white marking line, so I can mark where I'm gonna add my stuff. So what we're doing right now is I'm just looking at the porch from different angles, seeing if it matches. Definitely I wish I could have done a different shade and different like style, but this is what I'm gonna go with. Now we're gonna add a pool onto the porch area, the front of the porch. I'm actually just gonna add a pool to sculpt the way it looks. That's basically it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.